When you strip away all the lights, the pyro, the noise, what is professional wrestling really? Is it a sport? A performance? Well, we're going to break down a classic match that argues it's something else entirely. It's a live-action story told in 3 acts with absolutely everything on the line. So let's talk about those stakes. The prize here isn't just some shiny belt. It's a ticket to the main event of WrestleMania, the single biggest stage in the entire industry. It's the absolute pinnacle. For the 3 guys in this ring, it is the only thing in the world that matters. And every great story needs great characters, right? Well, this one gives us 3 perfect archetypes. First, you've got the monster, Brock Lesnar. He's not just a wrestler, he's described as a human weapon, a perfect fighting machine. Then there's the chosen one, Roman Reigns. He's been to the top before and he's desperate to get back. And rounding it out, you've got the wild card, Dean Ambrose, the unpredictable lunatic who just loves chaos and has literally nothing to lose. So, Act 1. The bell rings, and the story kicks off immediately. And this first act isn't about a fair fight. It's about establishing a force of nature. It's about the pure, overwhelming, terrifying dominance of Brock Lesnar. And you have to understand how they frame this guy. It's not just hype. The commentators are defining him as something, well, something more than human. A perfect fighting machine. The most decorated combat athlete of our generation. See, he isn't just another opponent. He's the central problem of the story that needs to be solved. The moment the match starts, he shows you why. He just completely ignores one guy and bam, hits a brutal German suplex on Roman Reigns. And before Reigns can even figure out what planet he's on, Lesnar does it again. He ends up hitting 4 of these devastating throws in just the first few minutes. He's not just wrestling, he's establishing total physical control, taking one of the story's main heroes completely out of the picture. And this is where that famous line comes from. It's not just a taunt, it's a declaration. He's not just beating his opponents, he's taking them on a guided tour of his own personal theme park of pain. For this whole first act, everyone else is just paying admission. Okay, so if Act 1 is all about building up this unbeatable monster, then Act 2 has to answer the big question. How on earth do you solve a problem like the Beast? Well, here's the key. The whole plot hinges on the type of match this is. It's a triple threat, and that means no disqualifications, no countouts, anything goes. And that little detail, it opens the door for the 2 underdogs, Reigns and Ambrose, to get creative. And they find their answer not in trying to outmuscle the monster, but in strategy. First, Ambrose hits a low blow, a total cheap shot, but hey, it's perfectly legal here. Then, in just a fantastic bit of storytelling, the 2 former brothers from their old group, The Shield, team up and powerbomb Lesnar right through the announce table. Together, they do what one man couldn't. So the monster is down, right? Buried in the rubble. And that uneasy alliance they formed, it shatters in a heartbeat. The mission to survive is over. Now, the mission to win begins. And this right here, this is the crucial pivot point. The entire narrative shifts. A second ago, it was a man versus monster story. Now, instantly, it becomes a brother versus brother story. It's all about ambition versus loyalty, with the biggest prize in the world hanging in the balance. So we head into Act 3. And just when you think you know where this is going, a simple one-on-one fight to the finish between 2 old friends, the story takes its final, absolutely chaotic, and unforgettable turn. See, after putting Lesnar through a second announce table, Reigns and Ambrose are sure he's done for. They've buried the monster. They think they can finally settle this between themselves. Or so they think. In one of the wildest things I have ever seen, Lesnar just rises from the wreckage. While Reigns is holding Ambrose up on his shoulders, Lesnar gets behind them and German suplexes both men at the same time. It's an absolutely superhuman feat that just throws the entire end of the match into total chaos. He doesn't stop there. He immediately grabs Roman Reigns and locks him in the Kimura. Now, this isn't some fancy wrestling move. It's a devastating submission hold that can legitimately break an opponent's arm. This is it. The monster is back and it looks like he's about to win. The story seems over. But the climax is just this rapid-fire series of betrayals. Ambrose saves Reigns with a steel chair. He unloads on Lesnar, beating him out of the ring. But then that ambition takes over. He turns and hits his brother, Reigns, with the chair. He goes for another shot, but Reigns ducks under it and hits one final decisive spear. 1, 2, 3. And that's the end. By pinning his brother, Roman Reigns survives the monster. He survives the betrayal, and he punches his ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. So when you look back at it, what did we just watch? Athlete, performer, or storyteller? A great wrestling match is a masterclass in all three. It had clear characters, a three-act structure with rising stakes, a shocking climax, and a clear resolution. The athleticism was the medium, for sure. But the story was the real show. And that right there is why for millions of people, this is the most captivating theater in the world.